Dylan Sisson, technical artist che lavora per Pixar, è passato dall'animazione 2D a quella 3D per spot commerciali e giochi.
Okay, we are here with Dylan Sisson, who works at Pixar as a technical artist. He moved from two-dimensional animation to 3D, and he works also for commercials and games. So, could you tell us which are your tasks and your job in particular at Pixar?
At Pixar, my responsibilities are sort of in the RenderMan group, where we develop kind of the rendering technology that we use to render all of our feature films and animated shorts.
Okay, could you tell us in shortly which is what consists the rendering procedure?
The rendering process is sort of like a 3D camera, which we kind of set up in a scene. So it's a little like if you think about claymation. So you set up all your claymation objects, you animate them, then you take a picture. That is the rendering process. And so we take the 3D data and turn it into a 2D image. And usually that's a very a demanding process because you have a lot of fur or subsurface scattering effects. You're trying to create a very visually appealing image from 3D data. So it's a technically challenging problem, but it also has a creative side as well.
Okay.
Yes.
I read that you passed from two-dimensional movies to three-dimensional. Is the step from 2D to 3D dimension difficult to achieve?
I think for animation, it's important to have like a background in 2D animation. I think it helps you when you get into 3D animation because there's a lot of fundamental techniques. Just in having to create the 2D animation, you have to think about it a lot, and that training helps moving into 3D. So a lot of there's many Pixar animators that have no experience using 3D software until they get to Pixar. They're just traditional 2D animators. So I think it's helpful to learn the traditional tools. Yeah.
Okay. So could you tell us something about the workshops you're hosting here at the View Conference 2009?
What I'm doing here at 2009 at the View is basically talking about how the creative process is influenced by the technology, like by RenderMan. So I kind of examine the shading and lighting from up and talk about some of the technical aspects in the creative context of the production. So some of the things that we do in production are not to try and physically replicate a world as much as try to fulfill like a creative vision of a director. And so that's what the technology is, kind of what we developed the technology for.
Okay, I read you work for App. Could you tell us which were the main problems and challenges you had to face in the drawing App?
Well, the main elements that I'm involved with in the movies are creating the tools and working with the groups that create the tools for Up. So, like I've done a lot of work with Slim, that was used to create a lot of the shaders in Up. So there's a lot of back and forth that happens at the beginning of production where the Up shading department will talk with our group and say, well, we'd like to create a color bleeding effect, or we'd like to use these tools to develop shaders. So they'll have feature requests, and so we'll work with them to make sure that they have the tools that they need to create the effects that they want for the movie.
And then could you tell us something about the projects or dreams you have got for your future?
Some of the dreams and projects that I have for my future, the technology is changing at in such an amazing rate that there's always something new every year to learn. So you're always being challenged by kind of the new technologies, and that's part of the fun part of the job, I think, is being able to learn new things all the time. So.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dylan, for staying with us. It was a pleasure to host you.
Thank you very much. Viva Italia.